She was the first professional referee in South Africa, Aimee Barrett-Theron.
You can have 79 minutes of perfection, but you make one error and you're a terrible referee. I'm not just this robot who woke up and chose violence and...
Scaz doesn't say anything. Sorry, you answer.
Scrappy-Doo, just Scrappy-Dooing.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you can see I'm raising my eyebrows, but I had Botox the other day.
In that level of rugby, you can kind of throw back. Don't be mad because my wife is more pretty than yours. Stuff like that. Where it's... I'm quite happy to say I'm autistic. I do think it is a superpower. The staying calm, like, what's the right decision here? Bang, that's what it is.
Referee Sarah Cox wearing golf clothes next to a golf cart.
Scaz, she's got your chinos on.
in mud. She's wearing Scaz's chinos.
She borrowed my green chino.
Here we are back again with episode 7 of season 5 of The Good, the Scaz Rugby, brought to you by our friends from Vodafone. Our Scaz Mo are in the building, and so is a woman who's been in the middle for the Olympics and the Rugby World Cups. She was the first professional referee in South Africa when she ran out at Allianz Stadium to become the first female match official to take charge of 40 tests a couple of months back. Mo gave her a shirt signed by the entire England team, and we discussed this on previous episodes.
Since been slammed for it.
And she has been slammed for it. Welcome to The Good, the Scaz Rugby, Aimee Barrett-Theron.
Thank you, team. I do want to back Mo up in this, but I don't know if we're there
That's
yet.
not what we
talk
do
about
here.
it?
That's not
No,
what we do here.
No, this is the roast.
Any time to back Mo up, because that is not what happens in general on this set.
The show should have been called The Roast of Mo Hunt.
No, but really, there's the two reasons. Like the first one, often we stand at the back of the tunnel and you see, say, Bots went out for a 50th cap, and you, as a ref, you're like, yay for her. You never get recognized. And we're not there, obviously, for the medals and stuff, but for a player to come up and be like, hey, that's Aimee, that's really cool. So I was like, oh, they like see us as real people, which is nice. And then, like, as a South African, like, resilience is part of our, like, DNA. And most specifically, I have a lot of respect for your resilience over the last few years. And I just thought, like, yeah, it was very special.
Oh.
That's
There we are.
nice.
It
See,
was
I don't
very
even
sweet.
care about the stick now. I'm glad that you like it, and there we are.
Aw. Okay, well,
Shut up, Meg Jones.
now that we've got that out of the way, have you got any feedback for us? Because you are a regular listener to the show. And I feel like every time, so just for context, for everyone's notice, Aimee texted me 2 days ago and said, what can I prep? And I was like, no, the show is to talk about you. And she was like, she's just so used to prepping things. In preparation, even though I said not to prep anything, is there any feedback that you would like to give us? Favorite bits, favorite guests, favorite previous episodes?
See,
Any
this would have
records
been a
you'd like to
perfect
set?
question
For you to
for you
prep.
to me 2 days ago. So I could have prepped.
Okay.
That, I mean, yeah, I just think like the general energy, and I make the mistake of listening to the podcast like at the gym where everyone's like super serious lifting weights, and then I'm canning myself because of whether it's Moisms, whether it's Meg's like Barbie car, like that
Is that
got
as
me
good
the
as you
other
thought
day.
it would be from the episode, by the way, or better?
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I enjoy the show. I don't have favorites. We're not supposed to have any favorites.
Oh,
Of like the England players,
People
anything like that.
only
But
say that when they have favourites.
but this is easily one of my favorite podcasts. But it's also like the Sappho connection.
God, yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, runs deep.
So the last time you guys saw one another was in Canada,
Canada.
right?
Vancouver.
There was a picture of you guys in a bar, Scaz
Yeah.
and Aimee.
Yeah.
Was there a little
Can you remember
post-tournament celebration? Have I just outed you?
Yeah.
Oh!
You maybe reminded me.
You were like,
Brilliant.
was I there?
There was definitely.
I was definitely
Let's
there. I
send a
didn't know
picture
there
to
was a photo.
Elma. Let's send a picture to
Oh.
Elma. Yeah.
Yes, I got a text
So I put it on the
message.
group.
Both of you
Brilliant.
looked like you were having a great time.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
important to
Unwind.
celebrate after a game.
Mm.
Yeah.
Where was Coxie?
That's a good
It
question.
was a very poor showing from her.
I agree. But it's the same as trying to get up for the photo. Like, she's a bit resistant.
Oh, that was
photo.
funny. We had a lot of feedback about that. Apparently the cameras were on there the whole time.
Oh. So we've previously had Holly Davidson and Sarah Cox, your colleagues in the refereeing fraternity, on the show. Holly famously described our Mo as Scrappy-Doo.
Yeah, we've lived that. I don't think we need to go.
Which was
we've had that.
sensational.
We've had that for 3 seasons long, and I think we can move past it.
What do
now.
you think of where is the big gap? Who is more different on the pitch to who they are on the show? Scaz or Mo?
Oh, good question.
Well, Scaz doesn't say anything. Sorry, you answer.
I was about to say, you're not the guest, Natasha.
There we are.
Scrappy do, just Scrappy doing.
Yeah, exactly the same. Exactly the same.
So we've done that, right?
So the question was, who is the same? Is it?
Yeah,
Perfect.
who's more like their show personality on the pitch, and who is very different on the pitch?
I'd say they're both pretty much the same. Like they don't have. I know it's easy for us to say, "Oh, nines give us a lot of lip like during the game," but Mo doesn't. She asks like good questions, and she is.
I don't know if you can see I'm raising my eyebrows, but I had Botox the other day.
Why would we not be able to see if you
I
raised
don't know
your
if they're
eyebrows?
moving. Like in my head, they're really up here. But in case they weren't moving, I wanted to make it clear that that was what the expression I was doing.
Yeah, as I was saying, yeah, she asks good questions. She's polite most compared to some other players. More on the probably on the men's side of it.
Yeah.
Scaz, like you say, she probably talks more on the show than she talks to me on the field. Although we'll have an engagement like. In the last game, we weren't sure about an early tackle or knock on or whatever. We had a little look and an exchange, and we were both like, okay, and carried on with it. So simple and good.
You guys are quite business-like, both of you, though. Like, I can completely see that just being like no drums.
I just think like I'm not going to try and compare myself to being a referee, but when I worked at school, we had to referee the boys, like our under 13s team or whatever, and it's such a hard job. And like I've no idea to then do it at the level that those guys do it at. I used to get, I'm sure you were the same, like parents shouting stuff on kids, and you're just like, I'm not trying to say I'm not like missing things on purpose. I'm not doing whatever. Like lots of things in life, generally, if you're doing it at a high level, you're trying to do it to the best of your capability. So yeah, I certainly try and keep my mouth shut, because also ultimately nothing's ever going to change, and then you just, as a player, you then wind yourself up, which then isn't productive for the next thing that you're trying to do.
I think it's also really important for us to acknowledge that Aimee has broken boundaries as a referee, not just in the South African context, which is notable because of the scale of what rugby is in that country, and the parents and the players are a lot, but on the African continent is a leading beacon for so many women looking towards roles that are prominent and in positions that get a lot of flack. And the fact that you have done the kind of work that you've done at men's rugby, Craven Week level. Craven Week, for those who don't know, in South Africa is massive. It is the oldest schoolboys rugby tournament, I think, on earth. It's been going for...
Is that what we'd see social media clips of, where it's like schoolboy stuff, massive
So basically
crowds?
they select a Bulls and a Lions and a Stormers and a Sharks, but there's loads of unions teams at under 13, 16 and 18 levels. And they all go to this national week where these unions play one another.
Oh, wow.
And it is at this week when you're playing under 18, under 19 level rugby that basically the French scouts descend en masse and offer up. Now, you must know there's like 25 rands to the pound. How many is it now? Is it like 20?
Way too much. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
look
many.
when I tap anymore.
So when an agent turns up and offers your parents, because you're underaged, a very, very large sum of money in euros and pounds, and you times that by 25, that is like life-changing amounts of money. So the kind of energy that parents and players go to these Craven Weeks
Mad.
is literally, this is future defining decisions that will be made about these players and their entire family's livelihoods. So when you are refereeing a Craven Week, which is school age rugby, sometimes the intensity, I mean, how does that compare to what URC test match rugby and other professional rugby is like?
Yeah, some of my hardest games have been schoolboy. Also because the spectators, the schoolboys, are like on the touchline. But then also, I remember my first Craven Week, I did it's a Grand Como week, which is under 16. and like Rassie Erasmus was there watching. And I just remember thinking, like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but okay, here we go. And, you know, one of the top dogs is watching that kind of rugby. And I just think, for me, I'm actually looking back now, very lucky for the rugby experience that I get as a South African. But in the moment, one of the hardest things I've done in my life, like reffing that kind of level, coming through that, because it's not just reffing at that level. It's being a woman in South Africa reffing at those tournaments where it's such like a traditional tournament, with such big stakes as well.
Were you Were you the first woman to ref?
Yep.
Yeah.
How old are these kids with that amount of pressure on them?
Oh, 17.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Imagine playing one game of rugby and having that much pressure.
Which is
Like
why
from your
Handré
family
Pollard
and
Is
has
that
said,
one game, or would you say it's a week?
Well, so sometimes
a
it does
week
come
with
down
all-
to a game.
Yeah.
Handré Pollard has said that interschools that I went back home for in August,
Yeah.
that our school plays, that he played in, he said that was on par with the Rugby World Cup final in terms of stress
Wow.
and pressure.
So that game is the biggest school game in the entire world. And I remember quite early in my career, I reffed the second team. And I was like, it's the second team. There were like 21,000 people there.
Shut up.
Oh my
They had a
goodness.
plane flyover. I just remember thinking, and you're not calmed up to your ARs, and you just like trying to ref, and you've got all the old boys on the side who come from like around the world.
Who fly in from London.
You were there, yeah. And
How many
and you have
games
to
have
ref.
you done in your professional career before you're doing this?
that was very early on. That was, I want to say, like 2017, 2018. So my first test match was in a 2016, say, in the
Whoa.
women's space.
And you're not wired up, so you've essentially
No.
got no help.
Unless they stand on the pitch and wave their flag.
That
That
Yeah.
happens.
And if you look up and see them, yeah. And if they don't get tackled by the old boys, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. It's
Jeez.
honestly wild. And I think
So
that
is that
it's,
what you flew home for?
Yeah.
Mad. Did you know that?
Yeah, she flew home for her netball team reunion or something.
Yeah,
wasn't
no, I
it?
knew
I
that,
and
but I
Jane-
didn't realise it was this.
Did you ever play netball in Derbs, or did you guys all play hockey?
In primary school, played netball, but I'm a hockey girl.
Mm.
Very much that side of the fence, yeah.
Mm. What does that mean? What is that code for, that side of the fence?
Oh, it was a big decision in school, and if you if you chose hockey, well, there's lots of fences we could talk about.
Sorry, lost my head.
What are you saying about the netball girls?
It's also in that
Such a
sport.
innocent question.
It was a big choice, and I chose the right sport. But I mean,
Nice.
yeah,
Can you see a world where rugby is now offered to like 7 to 10-year-old girls in South African schools? Can you see that happening?
it's starting. It's in the pipelines.
Is it?
Yeah, so I'm doing a lot of work with a lot of important people back home to try get that going. We've got some academies going. There's some really the Zoes, the Vians, it's there, and it must start there. And I think from the top, from an SA rugby side, like Lynn Cantwell has done some incredible work from the top down to then give women's rugby a future. And I think we're starting with the high school. The next step is the primary school.
That's awesome.
Lynn Cantwell, of course, big announcement recently. We haven't acknowledged this yet. Going back to her
Huge.
homeland, which I really think Ireland should never have let her go.
Agree.
Hello, you've got Lynn Cantwell.
I'm okay with the decision.
No, I'm really glad that they did slip up there, because she has been monumentous for women's rugby in South Africa.
Look at the difference that, say, last year where we were to this year where we were. And WSV2, we were watching in Vancouver at like 7, 8 a.m. in the morning, absolutely screaming at the TV, like throwing my breakfast at the TV, like, come on, girls, like this is it. So nearly roll Australia to beat Japan. We're there, we're competing. Can you imagine where we're going to be in the next few years? Like even next year in the World Cup, I will bravely say it here, like I think we've got a shot at the quarterfinal.
That's awesome.
And to, like, I played 2010 and we were just happy to get the participation certificate, if you know what I mean. Like it was really tough. Like, yeah, we beat Wales and Kazakhstan and we had a couple of wins, but we were so far from the top group that it was really tough to be in that setup. But to see where it is now, incredible.
Would we have played against each other?
Potentially, there's a couple of, but more in the sevens. Nations Cup
2011.
in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was looking back at it earlier, I was like,
Fly half,
definitely-
fullback.
Who?
Mm.
Oh, I was going to say it wasn't me.
No, no. There's one sitting here.
Yeah, we all knew who Scaz was, and she was pretty much either going to run over you or run through you or just
Glide past. That was the one that always got me.
The glide pass.
Glide.
The glide.
It's like she's running, but like she just
It's like a mirage.
yeah,
Like she was just here.
yeah,
Oh.
madness.
Yeah,
She
pretty
glide past you?
pretty tough life being a fullback because it wouldn't just be her coming through. There's like 3 or 4 more girls coming through, and you're just like,
This-
well, I will pretend to block that or give one solid tackle in, but she's made a brilliant pass out to the wing, and
Yeah.
but now I think we're kind of friends. Kind of.
I remember being on the South African bus home from that last night singing. Well, I wasn't singing, obviously. I was attempting to sing along with some
Were you on
South
the Safa
African
bus
songs.
with Alice and Joe?
La, la, la,
Were
long.
you?
Yeah. It was fun.
Shocked.
Why?
Just shocked.
What were you guys singing back in the day?
All I remember is
everything.
Not you.
Shoshalosa.
Shoshaloza. That actually came out last night in our referee dinner.
What's
Can we have
the
a-
correct pronunciation?
Shoshaloza. Close.
Close.
How does it go?
But that's one thing, like the culture of the Springbok women's team, and the men do it as well, like in the tunnel, in the change room, and the singing is just something special. I remember way back when we were playing, our coach said to us, like, stop this nonsense singing, and it
Really?
broke us because we were like, that's us being our authentic selves on the field, and we quickly changed that rule and we started singing again, and the girls still do it now, and every tournament they go to or every test match they go to, you can just see the impact it has, like on the crowd, on the other teams that then see it and want to join in. Like, it's just really good energy.
It's so cool. On the culture, like, it just looks awesome. And how they've, like, to your point about Lynn and her baby, like the way that they've just taken her in. I've honestly loved watching that evolve over Insta, and that is so cute.
Did you ever see the Barbarians, after the Barbarians test match, where they did like the Lion King?
Yeah.
lift?
So
Best.
cute.
That baby has got creds for life, basically. Harley Davidson really beautifully spoke and very vulnerably about her disappointment as a player in her career and suffering injury, and really kind of finding a second opportunity in refereeing. Was that the same for you? What was your experience as a player? Because I know women's rugby went so unfunded and unsupported structurally when you were playing that I can't understand how you were so determined to do this, because there was no one there to support you guys. No one cared that you were pushing so hard for this.
So 1995 World Cup, I watched the Springboks win and I was like, I want to be a Springbok one day. And like, that was it. Like, no one was changing my mind. I got to school, I was like, Miss, I'm playing rugby. And they were like, absolutely not. I'm like, okay, I'll wait till high school. No, there's no girls rugby in high school. Okay, I'll play touch rugby. And then when I left, I could finally play rugby. And I think, the landscape or where South Africa was in that, I probably, as much as I put on the Springbok jersey, I never felt like I reached where I wanted to be, and I absolutely nowhere compared to the men. Yeah, we played in the Sevens World Cup, we made the semi-final, okay, cool. Did I get as much game time as I wanted? No. Broke my finger a couple of weeks before the 2010 World Cup, so missed the first couple of games and came into it late, and also South Africa we were in the development phase, and the other teams were ahead of us. Yeah, we had a couple of wins against Scotland and Wales and things like that. But when it came time to choose between my masters or a professional rugby program, like the professional sevens program was moving to a guest house in PE, and not really getting paid a very small stipend, and you train together, and that was it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to choose masters. And it didn't last long because literally the next year I was like, no, I can't. I love rugby too much. I'm going to start reffing. I'm going to get back into the game. And being able to ref, I feel like I'm not anywhere close to my potential yet, but I feel like I'm actually like achieving really big things and coming home and just being like, wow, like that was amazing. As opposed to like, wow, I wish I'd played a bit more, or you know, any of that. And it's been a wild ride reffing.
That's not the easy way.
No, I regret every trip I made towards a ref. Like, as soon as I crossed over, I was like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. And I remember it was after my first URC game. I got back to the hotel. I was in the middle of Italy, didn't know a soul. I literally just sat on my hotel bed and like stared for like 30 minutes. I could do nothing. I was so like mentally and physically drained, emotionally drained as well. I was like, wowza. But then it also challenged me to do even more after that. So then you take on more URC games. You're taking on Currie Cup. You're taking on, say, Women's World Cup semi-finals and things like that. So it just challenges you to go even higher.
Do you find it isolating? Like, obviously, when you've got a team behind you, so like, say we play a game, like if I'm not happy or whatever, I'll come home, debrief to Scaz, like classic. But obviously, in that moment, you said you didn't know a soul there. You've come home, you've sat in silence. Like, do you feel that, or do you find that like the support network of all the refs around you is good enough, or is it very different?
Yeah, there's two sides to it, and I think one thing I did struggle with in the beginning, it was very lonely compared to you guys. We see you guys like in your big squad, and you're all out to, you know, walking around the town, and we're like all by ourselves, which is it's fine. But from say the World Rugby group, like we see ourselves as the third team on the field. Like we are really close. Most of us have spent loads of tours and years together, that we get each other, and like that is our team.
That's your community.
Yeah. But then you branch out to different competitions. It does get a little bit trickier, and now I'm moving into the men's space, and it's getting to know all of those guys as well and working with them. And yeah, it's you start to build your little family. I'm lucky with my Cape Town refs back home. We're a really tight group, and
you train together.
Every Wednesday, 6 a.m. we are there. Through the winter, we are there.
Once
6
a week.
a.m.
Yeah, but then we're doing our other stuff as well. So we do our individual programs, say 5-6 days a week.
But so as a team together, it's just that one time a week. And then I guess when you travel to games and stuff, the team is different
on site
every time.
Yeah, different people every time, different assistant referees, and you have to. What we found in this last WXV is we connected really well as a group. Obviously, you spend 3 weeks together, but there's a couple of personalities that we really worked really well together, and we get each other, and we start to learn. Like,
can you name them, or do you not want to?
Yeah, easy. Yeah. So someone like Maggie Kagawa from New Zealand, like she gets me, and I AR'd for her, she AR'd for me, and she knows when I'm under pressure, and she cares enough that after the game she's like, Aimee, how can I help you when I could see you under pressure? What did you need from me, and how can I help you? As opposed to like, I let her make the mistake so I can get a better game ahead of her. You know, like there's absolutely not that mentality, which is
because you're competing
amazing.
for selection. That's I think the thing that a lot of people don't always realize, register.
Yeah, it all goes on performance. And it's all the results are transparent. We have the online system that literally marks you with green ticks or red crosses, and you get a percentage of your accuracy and your scrum accuracy, line out everything, all your summaries. It's very transparent.
Who marks that? Because that's obviously a subjective opinion, because refereeing is so subjective. Or is it
a balance of both?
True?
So if you've all the decisions you've made, like that can be either right or wrong. Whether it's
remember there's a letter of the law.
Whether tackling out rolling, like is it right, is it wrong? Like there's that side to it, but you also get assessed on positioning, your presence, the way you come across on the field, your player relationships, your.
That's interesting. Your
is
presence.
Is that's perception though, right?
Yeah.
So that was my point, but you worded it better.
Yeah. So you can't. There's a subjective side to it, and I think that's what's special about reffing and special about rugby. Like, it's not like hockey where if the ball hits your foot, and that's a penalty or free hit.
Yeah,
or
there is a bit
it.
of.
Where rugby, there's a lot of grey and there's a lot of interpretation, and so when you get assessed, there's probably a balance of objectivity and subjectivity, and there's so much more to it, and I don't think people realize how much of the game gets assessed besides every second, every decision, every non-decision, and all of that. It's how you are on the field, like body posture, your communication style, the words you say. There's so much more to it.
So what do you guys chat about before the game? And how do you know that this is going to go really well or very badly pear-shaped based on that conversation pre-game that the referee has? Do you
What has with the players or the team or the captain?
Yes. And like, so what do you want to get across, and like, what do you get out of it? All three of you.
Us engaging with players.
Yeah.
I can tell you it's not my most favorite part of the day. Like,
Do you hate the scrum chat? The refs before a game have to come in and say, so my calls, don't do it anymore really, but it used to be, I'm going to say it like this: crouch, bind, set. And like every game before the game, they'd come in and they'd basically talk about their cadence, but it wouldn't change.
It's cadence, and it's, okay, I want hookers, go to the left of the mark. Okay, make sure it's a long bind. Well, so the thing is that, like, for me personally, I kind of stopped doing it a long time ago. Sorry, management, but I just feel like I walk into a change room, I'm telling Aimee Cocaine, Hannah Bodeman how to scrum.
You can't tell them anything.
I was going to say, ask Scazzy. You can't tell them anything.
Like, firstly, like from a respect point of view, like, you guys know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, it just feels patronizing.
And at the same time, if you're going to come with any tricks in the field, you're certainly not going to change it because I've said, don't do that.
Don't do that.
You're going to do it anyway.
But this is why I'm wondering. So, like, what is the point of the chat? What is it?
Procedure? I don't know. From our point of view, no idea. Like, I wouldn't speak to a ref for a game because it's generally front row, 9s, 10s and a captain sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes as a back, you'll get told, oh, you do the offside line.
Do you have like notes? Do you go in, Mo, and you're like, so I'd like to discuss the following matters before we go out
I don't want to discuss all that.
I was like, don't speak to me.
No, I think there are like nuances. So when you play like certain teams, there are things that certain teams are better cheats than others. So there are certain things that some teams
better cheats. You can word that so
there's a better way to say that.
How would you say it?
So like if we,
I'm not necessarily talking international here. That's not where my head just went, because I don't have conversations like that.
So we completely agree, but we wouldn't say you the cheat. We would say you'd go into, if a specific player has something, say, let's use bots because she was on the other day. Hannah, just make sure you scrum straight. Yeah. Like, we're gonna, or just make sure it's a long bind. Or
I see.
If it would be, sometimes you'll have a 10. Say if Holly's creeping up on the attacking line out, I'll just say, Holly, just make sure that you there. Like, I think it's a nice connection. It's firstly, your guys' music is way too loud in the change room.
That was gonna be my question. Like, what's it like, and how different are the changing rooms that you go into? Because not many people get to experience so many different international change rooms. Like, we'll have only ever been in one.
Great question.
Yeah. Are they louder than everyone?
We do. I always make sure it gets turned
louder,
down.
But your playlist is always pretty good. Some of the other playlists, and I'm not a huge fan, but
actually, you don't.
Does it get very doof? Like,
there's some, and I'm like, guys, that's
all the
a bit too much.
electronics.
And they're respectful enough to obviously turn it down when we get in. I think everybody's snack game is really good. And it's so tempting because we don't always get it to the same scale. Like, we'll get it maybe a couple of bananas and some jellies, but the snack tables, and I'm like, oh, hey guys,
our nutritionist is the boss, to be fair. You could always take stuff from that. Just never gets eaten.
A little sneaky treat would be nice.
Yeah.
No, but in general, I think I've reffed England. I actually looked it up before I came. And I've reffed, say, 42 tests, and I've reffed them about 15 times.
Wow.
So it's like quite a high number, and I don't know how it works, but it's obviously been good. You guys have been wonderful. And it's you get in, you see the same faces. It's quite nice to just be like, oh, hey, Scaz, like, we just want to, one of my goals as a referee is to just humanize it a little bit and be like, hey, it's Aimee today. Like, authentic Aimee. Hi guys, how are you? Like, I'm not just this robot who woke up and chose violence and wants to ruin your day. We actually like some of the biggest fangirls of the game, and I don't think people realize that. Like, I love rugby. And when I'm on the field, like we mic'd up, so I wouldn't be able to say it, but I'm like, I'm living my best life. Like running out, watching, so whether it's big tackles, whether it's a breakthrough, this ridiculous try, like a snap from the breakdown, dive and score. I'm like, this is amazing. But you obviously have to keep the poker face. But
you do slip up. Your internal monologue does come out.
Perhaps.
It's so fun though. Shira and I fangirl about Aimee's really dry remarks all the time, because there are these things that sometimes happen where you just like under your breath, you'll just respond to something.
So I found over the last couple of years, the more authentic I am on the field and the more me just being me, the better I ref and the more comfortable I am. And sometimes those things come out.
What's the best one that slipped out?
So there's been a couple of clips that have gone viral.
You have gone viral.
Which is so wild. And yeah, you never quite think that you're going to be, there's like 18 million views of you telling off under 20 players that I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. Like,
it's the disappointed card though.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that
Yeah.
from a teacher, from a parent. That's the one that really cuts deep.
My favorite is the Bungi Bunambi one. That was like top tier Aimee.
Yeah.
She said, I fully respect you and I'm well aware that all of your players have probably played more games than I've refed in the URC, but we're on the same field, so if you can show me the same respect I show you, that would be very appreciated. Honestly, that would
Mic drop.
make me shrivel into the tiniest.
Yeah. What do you even say to that? There's no comeback. You're like, yeah, okay.
Yes, sorry, ma'am. I
Yeah,
apologize.
literally.
My bad.
Bosh.
Where does that
Yeah.
come from? Have you always been that calm? Because that was delivered so, like freakishly calmly.
yeah, I think that's one of the things that works well for me as a ref. Like people always say, like, how are you so calm in the field? And I think I am. That's me on and off the field. Like I'm not really emotional. I'm not really like, that's me. And
You are quite similar.
Yeah.
There we are.
Aren't
Yeah, this
they?
is Amy's excited face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mo calls me a flat line.
Yeah.
No, not in a bad way.
No.
yeah,
Sorry.
and I,
Just sounded negative the way you said it. It's not a
I
bad
got
thing.
emotional at my flatline comment.
Oh, that was good.
So yeah, when I'm on the field, like that is my normal personality. And I think like you can use the analogy of like a duck, on the water looks smooth and you kicking underneath. Like we're working hard on the inside, but that's me just being me and being real. And I think people often ask, like, do you prepare for those moments? And I can't tell you I prepare the specific words, but you prepare the personalities. So if you compare the under 20 boys, England versus Wales, and then you compare Bongi, like there's no way I could have gone with the same approach in the same line because it's two completely different games, people, personalities. So you do prepare as a referee, like what do you think you're going to get? Like, sometimes Marley Packer, like you got to know how to manage her.
How do you manage her? Give us tips.
Give us all tips. No,
Yeah,
joking.
but how different is Bungi to Marley? What works with the one and what doesn't with the other? What's the difference between reffing in the men's and the women's game? Because you have really big personalities in both of those. I mean, both of them are pretty, like I would say, tough customers.
Yeah, very much so. And I think in both instances, you have to own your space and you have to, like, I'm in control here, but I see you and I hear you. I hear what you're saying because I understand, like I've been there, like maybe not in the front row like Bongi, but I've been on the field. I understand what you're trying to do, but from my side, it's really important that I get this message across. I will happily listen to your side as well. And I think, going from the men's to the women's, it's probably changed over time. Like I find the women's relatively easy. You get a couple of spicy personalities, but in general, I think the way I manage the field, like people seem to come down to my level as opposed to staying up there and wanting to go. Like as soon as I start to speak to them, they also slow down. So I try to just slow down with Marley. With the men's, it's different approaches because sometimes you have to go hard and say, no, that's completely unacceptable and march them back 10. And sometimes it's hey, Nizam, I need your help here. Your players aren't responding to me. And as captain, can you take responsibility here? And they're like, okay, yes, miss, yeah. But it's changed in the beginning, completely disrespectful, and women shouldn't ref men's games, and you should go back to the kitchen. I probably still get a bit of that in South Africa. But
directly from players? Or more from like wider noise?
It's probably moved to the outer spectator viewers, but it was direct on the field many, many times in my early career. Yeah.
And that's at a professional level? Or that was at a professional level?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's very hard to explain adequately how patriarchal, especially rugby in South Africa, still is to this day. Like, I feel like when I moved over here professionally, I moved about 10 years into the future in many real ways, because people could hear what I said, which sounds crazy, but it's just people being able to hear you sometimes is what's hard. It's not what you're saying. It's just physically that is coming out of this face. That is a very big challenge. You have joked about this on Instagram stories, but I know this as well. When you say that you're autistic, what does that mean when you joke on your Instagram stories about
Are you talking about this recent trip with the food?
Yes.
There wasn't cheese on the menu, and there was cheese on the plate when it came, and that was just the end of my trip. But
so you're at a restaurant, you order a dish, the food arrives, it has cheese on it. You don't do cheese.
Yeah, no cheese, no mushrooms, no avo, no mayo. Like, it's an extensive list. Yeah.
Does that fussiness manifest in other areas of your life? In refereeing, like, are you that specific about certain things?
No, because you know what happens is rugby is like it's an autistic trait. Like, rugby is my special interest, so I'm absolutely obsessed with rugby. So the things that I struggle with off the field, or not struggle, I navigate, I don't experience them on the field. So like so like I struggle with sensory processing, and it's like overstimulating in general. Like our referee dinner last night, there's 50 people in a restaurant, everyone's talking and everyone's, it was, then I would take quiet breaks and go outside and then come back and just to say, regather myself. But then put me in a stadium with 30 people coming at me at an intensity, plus 40,000 people, say at Twickenham the other day, and my brain is...
Plus something in your ear.
Yeah, plus that noise.
Yeah.
And my brain is probably the most quiet it's ever been, like, for the whole day, the whole week.
That's crazy.
That's wild. That's also very not what I would expect. So when were you diagnosed?
The journey, I probably have always known. Like, now that I know what I know, because research has been more targeted towards women now.
Yeah.
It's only been on men. And I was like, well, I don't fit any of those profiles. But now there's more about women. I'm like, wow, all of those stories resonate really well. So it probably started 2017. Like, we had it was the Women's World Cup, and I probably went through a bit of burnout after that. And it's actually like an autistic burnout, where it's too much. My brain is going at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Like, I'm not coping, and I don't know what it is. And then once we started to explore it, a lot of it was like the sensory things, and then we explored it further, and it's like a bit of like social awkwardness and eye contact and all these different things. Like, just so probably from 2017, it's just built on, and now, like, where I am today, like, I'm quite happy to say I'm autistic, and the World Rugby refs love it, because now they have there's an official reason for me, like, in meetings, I'd just be very direct and very blunt, and they're like, whoa, Aimee, whoa, and I used to put it down to like, well, if we South African, we blunt,
as you know,
can vouch.
Yeah,
can confirm.
But now it's like everyone gets it, and then like the smaller considerations, someone like Maggie would be brilliant at clearing the change room for me before a game, because everyone's in there, everyone's excited, the tech guy's in there, the match day doctor comes in, there's just far too many people in there, and I can't do all of that, so she gets all the people out.
She sounds great.
She's
amazing.
wonderful.
Do you know you can get jumpers now? I saw someone walking around Gloucester and it's like
So
neurodivergent is like a superpower or something like that.
it is.
Do you have one?
We should get you one.
We should get you
so
one. I was
in,
going to send it burner.
So Women's World Cup in New Zealand, I got a badge, and it's like my social battery.
Oh my God, I was going to get tap one of these. And it moves.
And you can
And basically don't
adjust it as
talk.
you.
Yeah.
So have one of those. But
Do you use it?
I absolutely
What, so you had it on you for the tour?
yeah. And then if it's in the red, people are like, cool, Amy's going to do her own thing today. And I would be reading my Kindle while they're all doing wine tasting, but I'd still be there. But they're doing their thing and I'm just having a quiet moment.
Did
But
someone buy you the badge or did you buy it yourself?
a
Sorry.
waitress had it at a
Simple
restaurant
questions.
and I was like, your badge is amazing. And she was like, yeah, have it. So,
Oh.
but I do think, going back to your point, I do think it is a superpower. Like, I think it really helps me because some of the traits are like, you have a really strong sense of justice and fairness. Perfect for referee.
Rock solid. Yeah.
You love rules.
Tick.
Perfect.
Boom.
You know, like the staying calm, like not lack of emotion.
Tick.
Although my wife might think that, but yeah, like the staying calm, no emotion to it. What's the right decision here? Bang, that's what it is.
Is it, sorry, one more question. Is it textures with the food that you don't like?
Textures, tastes.
Tick.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mo's
It's-
convinced she's
I'm
on the
getting a
spectrum.
jumper.
Yeah. She wants to be neurodivergent
We can
too.
have
manage.
Basically, she also
conversation.
just wants to be a rev.
Your social battery would always be green though. You'd be like, talk to me. Anyone?
Yeah,
Anyone?
no, it's
Anyone?
true. That is the one thing that lets me down.
Yeah.
Well, but the thing is, it's a wide spectrum because sometimes I can be super social and sometimes I'm like, guys, I can't have any conversation. I can't make the words come out. Like you do you.
Yeah.
You just
So
put a
you-
picture of it like on the red or the
Status. On the
most
red side.
unsociable side.
Yeah.
Take a picture of it, put it on the team WhatsApp groups.
Yeah.
Like, I won't see
There
Amy
we are.
today.
Yeah. She's out.
Easy.
The thing with autism classically though is that communication, and this is not communication necessarily you speaking to people, but also reading cues, being able to read faces and other non-verbal cues is something that people who are on the spectrum and have some sort of neurodivergence often battle with. Refereeing relies on that so intensely, not only you speaking and verbalizing, but also you being on the receiving end of so much of that. And this is the thing that you don't battle with on the pitch at all, because it seems like your emotional intelligence is so high when you're out there.
So yeah, off the field, horrendous and like super awkward. And I'll say inappropriate things, and people around me, that's fine because we're around Coxie and she's also super inappropriate. So, you know, like we all just go with it. But on the field, I don't think players realize how much we'll read into the things you say to each other, your body language, how you move around the pitch. Take Canada, England. I don't know if you guys want to go back there, but Canada, England at WXV.
Gotcha. Bring it on.
Like the first 20 to 30 minutes, I could immediately pick up that you guys weren't in control, and you knew it, and you didn't quite know what to do to get it back. But once you switch it on and say the 60th, 70th minute, you like there's a flow state, the way you move around the pitch, the way you were talking to each other, and sometimes not even talking to each other, but letting the ball flow, like, you know. So I spend 80 minutes of reading as much as I can to try and make the best game decision. And that's what I love about rugby, because it's such a challenge. But that it's probably dangerous to go into this, but going on to the men's side, sometimes they push the boundaries as far as their reactions and how they are, and then I find the women are a bit more real, and you can get a true reflection, and that's why I think it works so well.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. But the amount of,
I felt in control, by the way.
just for the record.
It wasn't you, it was the others around you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
gotcha.
it's not you, Mo. You were
I just
fine.
wanted everyone else to be
But I
on
mean,
my control.
Ellie Kildare spilled a few balls, and some of the Canadian girls jeered her, and you quietly under your breath went, "That's a bit unnecessary."
Yeah, I just again
poor girl.
the
Such a good
fairness,
Aimee moment, though.
the fairness side of it. I was like, guys, like I don't mind a bit of banter on the field, and sometimes like the front rows, I'll be like, oh guys, that's a bit spicy, but I still think we just need to be, there's still a balance of respect. And I don't mind you can push the boundaries, but somewhere, and it just maybe comes out of my mouth.
I love it though.
You must be party to some terrible front row chat.
Yeah.
Like, it must be
No names.
awful.
No names.
This we've had some good engagements, and I don't do the poker face. Like, if it's funny, I'll laugh and walk away, or if it's some of them are really good, and we enjoy that side of it, because also they're just being themselves. And
but also in South Africa, you understand. So a lot of people would assume because she's a white girl, she wouldn't understand Zulu. But is more fluent in Zulu than in Afrikaans. Do you pick up things that people don't?
Plenty.
Do you ever let on that you can speak it? Do you know what I mean? Because I think if nobody knew I could, and they were having this chat or whatever, I'd just be like, right, bank that one, save that for later.
It depends. I kind of pick up on the vibe. Like, some guys, you're never going to win over, so I don't even try, and I'll just ref what's clear and obvious and get myself out of there. But sometimes I'll be like, "Wat maak hierdie vrou?" Like, which is, what is this woman doing? And I'll be like, "Excuse, wat sê jy?" Which is like, "Excuse me, what are you saying?"
Yeah,
What are you
going
saying?
there and challenging them on it. Yeah.
So and then they do change, but
That's class.
we can, at least in that level of rugby, you can kind of throw back, like, don't be mad because my wife is more pretty than yours, or like stuff like that, where it's you're not mic'd up.
And they would probably just go, did she just say that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have to enjoy yourself, because if you don't love rugby and if you don't love reffing, like, it is.
So's your mum.
It can be relentless, and there's I have so much respect for the guys that do it at just a club level or schoolboy level, because it's relentless what they get from the players.
It's
from
a
the
punishing
spectators.
hobby.
Oh, it's so difficult, and I'm just.
But we need more people involved in it. So
Why do you do it?
also great.
Why do you love it? Why do you think, what is that thing that as a 9-year-old, and I've spoken about the 95 World Cup, we've talked about it a lot. What is it about that experience that was so formative that made you go, I want to be part of this? Why do you think it reached into your soul and grabbed you the way it did? Because it's really set the course for so many things for you. And it does now feel like you were born to be a ref. Like, as much as you would have thought you were born to be a player.
Yeah. And I think, back then, it wasn't just a sport. It was like, and I don't want it to sound cheesy, but South Africans get it. Like, it was like hope for our country. And I wanted to be a part of that, like that kind of feeling. And it's the same as the last World Cup win. Like, there's so much hope for the country when we do well like that. Like, the whole country just gets together and unites. And it's more than a game to me. And I think, besides how amazing rugby is and all the dynamics of it and how challenging that it is, I just think, like, my role as a referee, or say as a woman coming to playing and then reffing, is to hopefully give hope to the next generation, to say, guys, I'm doing it. Like, I'm doing it in a male-dominated world and doing it pretty successfully. So, you can do it as well. And whether it be in a different sport, whether it be in corporate, whether it be in rugby, like, I just want to say, jump onto that hope and hopefully change some things, because my personality in general, fly under the radar. Like, my teachers back in high school, you do your Afrikaans mondeling, which is your oral, the reddest face. I'd like stumble through my words and sit down and just regret my whole life decisions. And now I've realized how important it is to be in the role that I am. So as tough as it is, as much as I've had to break the glass barrier, the ceilings, and fight the system and things like that, like, there's a bigger picture, and I will not stop until I've made a big enough change.
Preach.
You've already made a very big change. You know this, right? There are so many neurodivergent people who will listen to this and go, Oh my goodness. There is so much empowerment here, male or female, but also people who just love the sport and have unfulfilled dreams and want to make a contribution. What is your involvement with the SA Women? Because Coxie told us she felt part of the England team and they called her into their team photo.
I think she regretted saying it when we tried to
WXV.
drag her into the photo.
Bless her,
What
I
is your
feel bad.
relationship with the South African girls and how close are the players of your generation to the ones now?
I think firstly to touch on the neurodivergence side, I just hope it changes the negative stigma of it. Like all of a sudden people, you say autistic and people are like, oh, shame, like, you know, you're going to struggle with a few things. And actually, no, I'm just different. It's not negative, it's different, and we make it work and we navigate it. But anyway, going on to the Springbok women, I am part of the team. Like I do a lot of law discussions, I review their games, I help them prep, I help them how to speak to the referee, I say, like explain a little bit about their personality, what's the best way to engage with them, join them in their training camps, and some of the girls who are playing now, still playing, Cindy Boy, the captain, I played with. Like,
Really?
I was playing and she had her first test when I was playing, and just to see how far they've come. And
2010 isn't that long ago.
No,
No,
it's
Esma.
really
but
not.
Cindy, like I just
2011 leader.
I have to say I didn't realize Cindy was there in 2010.
And she was amazing. And she played, I'm pretty sure she played sevens as well. And then
Yes, she was at the sevens
15s.
program. Yes.
Yeah. And just to see where they've come. So obviously I played with a lot of the girls. I played with the coach, Lauren, as well. And then ref them through the provincial structures and things like that. And just to know, like, guys, I know exactly what it's like to be where you've been. And I get it, and I want to do as much as I can. Like, I see the goal, and I see the change, I see the opportunity for you girls, and I want to do as much as I can to help that, because the refereeing, the law aspect side of it is such an important part of how teams play and how they can, be more successful at playing. But I can't wait. Like World Cup next year, I can't wait to join them because I'll never ref them. So like for me to be able to be in the stands and sing the national anthem, best, because we have to stand on the field. We listen to England and we listen to Australia and New Zealand, and we can pretty much sing them all ourselves. We obviously can't live, but we know all the words, but you never get to sing your own anthem. I've certainly tried to sing my own in my head, but it's too hard with everything else going on. But
now that would be a neurodivergent superpower. I mean, if you did manage.
To be able to watch them in the World Cup just being amazing. I can't wait to see them, be a part of it. I want to go to their matches. I want to be in the stands cheering for them. I want to be in their change room where the protocols allow, where I can do that. And they're incredible.
I just want to see them fulfill their potential. Really. Yeah.
When do you get the World Cup draw? Obviously, we've had ours. When do you know as refs?
So as far as being selected for the actual World Cup, I think they spoke about it's probably after Six Nations next year. But then as far as actual appointments, we'll know the week before the games happen, probably.
No way. That's mad, considering it's all over, like where you'd be compared to where South Africa are playing.
We're ready for any game, any team, any time, you know?
She's got her
Love
whistle
that.
right here. She's ready to lace up any moment now.
Any team, any game, any time.
So when Sarah Cox was on the show, she told us about a 5-hour court session.
Were you involved in that?
Are
Or did you
you?
have to sit through it? Sorry.
No, so
Were you incriminated?
I was on
She
the
had
receiving
a badge
end.
on. It was up to red. She had headphones on.
Bye-bye.
She's like, I am not dealing with anyone right now.
And it's not my problem.
I knew this was potentially going to come up in the podcast. It was all very accurate, like it was as long as that, and it extended into Danny Doolan's, and some of us only got home at about 6-7 a.m. Sorry, Mum, if you're listening to the podcast.
It's not your fault. Court finished at 5 a.m. Do you know what I mean? You're only out for an hour.
True story. No, but it was brilliant and it was wild, and it's such a, like, again, riffing takes you to the absolute extreme as far as like your mental, emotional, physical capacity, and it was so nice to just as a team celebrate like all the good moments, people in the team, because we do, like I said, we do see ourselves as a third team. So it's nice to celebrate in that way. I mean, Coxie's completely the next level though.
Yeah.
Sorry, class to celebrate, but if you could have cut it down, like how many hours would have been sufficient?
What was
Would have
appropriate?
been appropriate. 90 minutes? Like, what are we talking?
Yeah, I'm closer to less than half of that time.
It's good feedback.
obviously-
Everyone needs feedback.
Did she do one at WXV?
I don't think she's been allowed.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't really a court session, but it was. We did maybe end the night with mixing vodka and like a rehydrate Gatorade idea, and they
When you were on tour at WXV, I would like to now show you a photo and please ask you to explain what was happening here. For our audio listeners,
It's not bad.
this is referee Sarah Cox wearing golf clothes next to a golf cart, half of her body covered.
She's got your chinos on.
in mud. She's wearing Scaz's chinos, but she's got long socks on with them, so it's good balance. No middle part, no low po.
It's the ones that zip off.
Please explain the mud. What was happening here and why did you out her?
bits you
for
are
it?
with yourself there.
Is it Scaz or is it Coxie?
I think it might be Scaz actually. Chino alert.
so
No, I got a lot of this chat when we
Sorry.
were away, didn't we? Abby Ward just kept, every now and again would turn to me and be like, Coxie, oh, sorry, Scaz. I'm like, for goodness sake.
So the first point I want to make is when we're on tour, like there's a lot of hard graft, a lot of presentations, preparation, reviews, all of those things. We're training all together. We're in the gym, but we do get a day off here and there, and we decided we're gonna go play golf.
So you flew your clubs with you?
Some of us, yeah.
Okay.
So now Coxie has a bit of a past with being almost a professional golfer. True story.
Bit like Almo.
Yeah.
I wasn't almost professional. I've
County?
never
County.
I
County.
did county.
No, don't downplay county.
We
Right.
could play
Claim
at the World Cup and have a little ref.
I was going to
Perfect.
say,
England challenge.
We could do
you
a full
versus the
ball.
refs.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Get bots in.
Can I come and ref it?
Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'll be the
Coxie.
rules official.
Done.
Alma plays. We can't.
Yeah, but she's very bad. So I'll
So I
find my
thought we
own,
were having
own
two
friends.
full
to
balls.
do
Drive.
All
it.
right, we'll have 2 4
You can
balls.
drive the golf cart as well. That'll be helpful. So yeah, on our day off, we went to go play golf, and Coxie being the almost professional, some brilliant shots and some pars, some birdies, and all these wonderful things. And me and Menas, Andrew McMenemy, I'm a bit more of a social golfer. Some birdies, some didn't finish the hole, and but Coxie.
Sorry, you
Doing-
didn't finish the hole.
No, like too many shots. I'm like, I'm done with this, and I just pick up the ball
No
and carry on
judgment,
going.
though.
No judgment.
I'm
All
getting
she's
there.
thinking in your
Sorry, but
head
I'm-
is,
I was
yeah, we'll
just thinking
definitely play.
That's the one rule that we've never been allowed. Like, if you don't want to finish Monopoly, you have to sit and finish Monopoly.
All of us are not county golfers,
No,
Mo.
but Monopoly, different story. I get that. There must be a
Okay.
winner.
Yeah.
But golf, I'm still like,
Yeah.
I'm learning. It's a nice break away from rugby, and
Fair. Learning,
enjoyed it.
okay.
Yeah, can
Out of
shoot,
18, I pick up on about 3 holes, so it's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah,
I
keep
can
going.
shoot under 100, but
No,
Yeah.
I'm not doing this for money.
You need to relax.
anyway, Coxie being
Jeez, Mo.
Mo would be the sort of person that when
Take a day off.
when she'll have the scorecard and you'll put in, she'll be like, how many is that? You'll be like, 5. She'll be like, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
Fairness is really important to me.
sorry. We should talk
Sorry.
more about Mo becoming a referee. We have asked her a few times.
I was going to say.
And
Don't. My
there's-
mum wants me to, but I'm like, Mum, leave it out. I can do the loneliness.
But
But
it's
you just heard about
it's
the court sessions
Yeah,
and the
and I
golf.
couldn't deal with the 5-hour court sessions either. Sorry.
How did she get covered in mud?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
yes. So,
Sorry.
there was a bit of rain the day before, and anyway, she's getting her club out the golf cart, and I'd just gone to get my ball at the bushes or something like that. I came over the hill. There's Coxie like lying on her back in the mud. She slipped like just next to the golf cart pathway. My first reaction, I was like, oh gee, like
Has she been hit by a
Man
ball?
down. Yeah.
Yeah, like what is going on?
People.
Anyway, she ended up slipping, and it was just like a wonderful moment of like, you know, she's up there, this top golfer, but also
Humbled.
they're just
Yeah, I love
humbled in
that.
the mud.
Gravity caught up.
And it was quite early in the round as well. Which
Oh,
Was
so
it? And she's
good.
wearing a white top and light coloured shorts.
yeah, no,
Chinos.
they didn't
Your
recover.
chinos.
Yeah,
More
she borrowed
specifically.
my green chino.
I'm so
She-
glad you admitted it. I didn't think you were going to.
Chino.
Chino.
Why is that so
You've
funny?
never loved to chant more.
Elma snorted earlier after she did it. She went, Cheetos! And it was the best thing ever. It's coming again. Wait for it. Wait for it. We're close, boys. We're close. Breathe.
No.
Oh,
No.
sorry.
I'm trying to regain my composure. It's not that funny. I don't know why I find
No,
it
it's
so
not.
funny.
What were you saying, Coxie?
Coxie.
Sorry, I lost it.
Let's go back to Autumn Nation series. So you are now where? And how often are you at home at this stage? Does your partner and your daughter, your wife and your daughter ever see you? How much of Aimee happens back home and how much of hers just flying somewhere?
Yeah, it's pretty tough. Like this trip, I left on the 2nd and I get back on the 26th. And I've just spent 3 weeks in Canada. And then I get home for 6 days and then I go up north for 2 weeks of EPCR as well. So it's hard. And she's a brilliant single mom for a lot of the year. And I've been, I haven't quite tracked this year. I tracked, it was my last season when I was out of the country, out of Cape Town, 204 days of the year. And it was over 50 games. But my role is difficult because I'm across the men's and the women's calendar.
There's no off season.
And the men don't have that where I'll go from, so I've gone under 20s. We went straight into Curry Cup, straight into URC, WXV, men's internationals, EPCR, URC, men's Six Nations, women's Six Nations, back to URC, Pac 4, Curry Cup, World Cup. And there's SA Cup
How
on
do you
top of
even
that.
remember that much?
That's wild.
It's also crazy that there are that many rugby competitions if you think about it. It's actually just...
And I've actually progressed. I don't do Varsity Cup anymore, and I was doing Varsity Cup, and it's a lot.
Do you get an off season? Because
No.
obviously, say just from a physical point of view, you are, I don't know how far you run in a game, probably nearly 10K, isn't it? Less than
Depends on the
No.
competition.
No?
It's probably
Refs will run more than us.
around 8 to 8.5 Ks a game.
Silly.
I mean, it wasn't too far off. But nonetheless, obviously, at some point in the season, your body needs some downtime, right?
Yeah,
Needs it, doesn't get it.
Yeah, we don't. I would say we don't have a choice. It's not the negative side of it. It's just where we are, and say as South Africa in the URC and the EPCR competitions, and where I am as say in my reffing career, I have to take the opportunities. I say I want to represent on the Women's World Rugby stage, but I also want to push ground in the main stuff.
Yeah.
So
It's the high performer that you are.
yeah, I want to do it all, and I want to do the best that I can, and it's probably a constant battle of when is there off time, how can I manage my body the best I can, and it's just say open communication with management, with other people, but it's a hustle, and it's a daily battle of trying to make sure you're in decent conditions to.
Because you still need to be able to do the work well, not just turn up. You actually have to be excellent at it.
Unlike what most people think, we just pitch up on a Saturday and run around and then go back to our day jobs on a Monday. There's so much physical preparation, and you have to be 100% switched on from the first whistle to the last. And if you're not, it could be a game-changing decision.
That's the decision that could be the... Yeah.
You can have 79 minutes of perfection, but you make one error or you miss a knock-on, it changes the game, and you're a terrible referee.
Yeah, that's you. So the last time we spoke about this, you still had your biokinetics practice in Cape Town.
Still practicing.
Still practicing.
I have wonderful patients who are very supportive, and they
only need treatment twice a year.
essentially. Most of them have been with me for a good few years, and I do have a colleague. I brought a lovely gentleman on this year. He's also a rugby referee, so he gets it. But the thing with biokinetics, and you guys might find as well, like with physios or people that treat you, you don't want to see anyone else. You want to see like your person. So when I come back into the practice, I get into it straight away, and I do as much as I can there. And it's a nice break from rugby, because it's like me, my patient, in my quiet rehab gym, and we do what we need to do. And then rugby's the complete polar opposite. But when I'm doing one, I'm enjoying it, but missing the other. And when I'm doing the other,
And you mentor Zoe Nordia, the coach, the ref in South Africa.
I do. And a couple of the other female refs, yeah.
Yeah. So also just quickly mentoring a few other women through the process.
Yeah. There's quite a list. I have a lot of fingers in different pies, but I am passionate about all of it, and I want to make it happen. Yeah.
Rugby's very lucky to have you.
Yeah, very much so.
We spoke about the Autumn Nation series innovation, where the ref mic is open to the ground.
How do you feel about that? Ooh, there's
Speak to us.
Yes.
So we do practice our communication. So if you do like the foul play, the head contact process, you do practice that, and we watch thousands of clips, and you break it down, and because you have to speak sense, and you have to speak according to the process and the protocol, and you have to make it, you have to sell your decision well, and you have to educate the public. But I just think I have had an open mic, I want to say Australia, New Zealand, and it was definitely the first moment I started speaking and it went, and I was like, oh.
Whoa.
And then you...
God.
Is this thing on?
Okay. And it just brings a little bit of more of an element of practice with that, because obviously it's bigger. There's I wouldn't say echo, but it's you have to be wise with your words, that you can relay the message, because now you're educating the crowd that are there, which we find really beneficial, and we actually got feedback from the boys at the camp now this week as well. It's beneficial because sometimes you blow your whistle, you show a yellow card, everyone boos. But they have no idea what's happened. But actually,
you haven't spoken to people in the venue through the process.
Yeah, but we can sell it, or we can say it's no try because this. But your team still has a penalty, and you can, But that's the difference between us and say football referees. Like, you can hear us talking throughout the game, and I think people can follow the story a lot better. Where in football, it's just random blows of the whistle, and I don't think there's the same connection to the referee in football.
Did you ever watch that ref documentary? You probably did.
I did. We were at the premiere together.
Perfect. Who was the ref that was running around practicing what he spoke? Do you remember? Do you do that?
Oh, guys, we don't want to give away all our tricks.
Do you do that? Do you go out on a pitch on your own and practice the calls?
I'm sure there's more. Are there more questions that coming?
Sorry,
she just said pass.
Fine, pass. Sorry. No, that's fine. We can move on.
No. I'm okay to talk about it, because people must know like the preparation that comes into it. We don't sit with our law books and memorize the laws. Like, that's not the way we practice. The way you practice, you can watch a game, you can say visualize yourself in it, you can sit and visualize, okay, kick off, obstruction by the escort runner, okay, you're blowing a penalty, things like that. You practice your communication. I do like to do a bit of field work in my local area. And you say
on the Rondebosch Common.
Yeah. Yeah. And you'll like run the running lines, do the different pivotal, say, movements, the chase through, because like running lengths or going for 5K is not appropriate to refereeing. So we practice that, and you do visualize as you go. Yeah,
I thought he was joking. I didn't realize that was actually a thing.
I don't think everyone does it, but I think there must be
some people that do.
Yeah, so someone like Joy Neville, who's come on, and she's now our coach. Like, we literally had a session this afternoon where she showed me a drill of, okay, this cone is this is your in goal positioning, these are your decisions here. You're gonna sweep around here. Okay, at this cone, this is your line-out decision, then it's a quick box kick. Like, we have to be thinking like that, because otherwise we don't really get to practice. Like, we practice on live TV. Because you can't be like, hey, 30 friends, can you come down and smash each other so I can practice my reffing? So something that I find beneficial is at the tournaments, sometimes the teams request us. And we're like, please request us more, because we actually get to practice.
Just so generous. And I think that that's really come through in the way that you do everything you do, is the generosity of spirit. Rugby's very fortunate to have you. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, team.
No, very welcome.
Where are you going to be? Oh, there's your scrunchie.
We have a scrunchie. Everyone that joins us on the sofa gets one.
And you may or may
You don't
not
have to be
wear
a
it.
scrunchy
I was
person
about
to
to
wear.
say, I don't like change. I've had the same hairstyle since 2009.
Just managing our expectations here.
that's
She has
fine.
some boundaries
Wear it
around
on
the
your
hairstyle.
I will, thank you. I do
Cherish
appreciate
it
it.
forever.
It's not as cool as your shirt, but it's pretty awesome. Thank
Okay.
you.
If South Africa loses to England,
If South Africa leaves, yeah.
What are you
You're
going
what?
to do?
You're what?
What are you going to do, Elma?
You're gonna wear an England shirt? I think
Also,
she's
you
already
brought
worn
this
one of
on
those. Yourself.
yourself.
oh, do you know what? If South Africa lose to England, I will wear the green chinos.
My green chino.
Coxies.
Coxie's green chinos.
I love that you think they're gonna fit you.
What?
They will. You'll pull them up and they'll fall back down to your ankles.
I don't have the BBL.
And that is not the bet.
I don't have the BBL Scazzy, unfortunately. No. Okay, we'll have to think about it.
Wait, you have to come dressed as Scaz, and Scaz has to come dressed as you.
Okay, cool. If South Africa lose to England, I will turn up to the show dressed in the Scaz chino. And if South Africa wins, you will come dressed as me, complete with earrings.
I don't have my ears pierced.
Yeah, we
well,
can get clip-ons.
We can get clip-ons.
You had clip-ons
Just
before.
become completely impartial in this.
Because it was my idea.
She's now the referee.
yeah.
She's the ref.
And that is the perfect close to what a wonderful podcast we've had. We have been The Good, The Scaz and The Rugby in partnership with Vodafone. The Good, The Scaz and The Rugby is a folding pocket production produced by
Shira
Kilgallen.
Kilgallen.
You're muggins, you are. Absolute muggins.